The internet isn't built on apps, websites, and cloud services. It's built on two identifiers that every single packet carries: a MAC address and an IP address. If you've ever wondered why we need both, who designed them, and how they scale to billions of devices, this video will hopefully make that crystal clear. Every device you own has both a MAC address and an IP address. They sound similar, but they serve very different purposes. To understand why both exist, we need to look back at the foundations of modern networking. Networking wasn't built all at once. It evolved in layers. The designers of the Ethernet and the Internet Protocol had different goals. And that's why your laptop, your phone, your router, your toothbrush all carry both a hardware address and a logical address. MAC addresses come from the IEEE 802 standards, and they were around in the early 1980s, as Ethernet became the dominant local networking technology. Each network interface card needed a unique identifier for the data link layer communication inside a local area network. IP addresses were defined earlier in RFC 791 in around 1980 for IPv4. They were designed for routing data between networks, not just inside one. And it's this separation, this local addressing versus global addressing, that was intentional and separates the two. Ethernet and IP were designed to complement each other. A MAC address is a 48-bit identifier. Sometimes it's extended to 64 bits. It's assigned by the hardware manufacturer and is stored on the network interface card. It's written in hexadecimal, for example, 00:1A, :2B, :3C, :4D, :5E. It operates at the layer 2 of OSI model, and switches use it to forward Ethernet frames on a local segment. A MAC address is not random, it is structured. The first 24 bits are an organizationally unique identifier, or OUI. This is assigned by the IEEE to the manufacturer. The second 24 bits are the device identifier, assigned by the manufacturer to that specific piece of hardware. So looking at a MAC address, you can often tell who built that device. That's why databases exist that can map a MAC address's prefix to companies like Intel or Cisco or Apple. Now onto an IP address. Focusing on IPv4 in this video, it's a 32-bit logical identifier written in dotted decimal, like 192.168.1.10. It's hierarchical, with a network portion, a host portion, that can be assigned manually or by DHCP or by your ISP. It operates at layer 3 of the OSI model, and routers use it for forwarding packets across different networks. So why do we need both? Well, on a single Ethernet LAN, a MAC address alone are sufficient. But once you want to connect multiple LANs into a wide area network, or the internet, you need a hierarchical address system. That's IP. The glue between them all is ARP, the Address Resolution Protocol, defined in RFC 826. ARP maps IP addresses to MAC addresses in IPv4. In IPv6, defined in RFC 2460, and later updated in RFC 8200, addresses expanded to 128 bits. And rather than ARP, IPv6 uses Neighbor Discovery Protocol, which is defined in RFC 4861. But the principle remains the same. IPv6 is still logical addressing, and it still relies on the link layer identifiers like MAC. On your computer, you can run commands like ipconfig or IP address show, and you'll see both the MAC address of your network interface and the IP addresses assigned to that MAC address. In packet captures, the Ethernet header contains the source and destination MACs, whilst the IP header contains source and destination IP addresses. This layering is what makes networks scalable. MAC handles delivery on the local segment, IP handles delivery across the globe. So here's the key takeaway. MAC addresses are unique identifiers at the hardware or data link layer, and IP addresses are logical. Together they make a reliable end-to-end communication possible from all your devices from all across the globe. The difference isn't cosmetic, it's architectural. MAC addresses tie devices to a physical network. IP addresses make it possible to connect those networks into the internet. Now, you have to understand that in the past, MAC addresses were baked into those hardware devices. Nowadays, we can change or spoof those MAC addresses. So you can't rely on them being truly unique or truly that device. 2 layers, 2 roles, 1 design that's lasted over 40 years. And if you want more clear breakdowns of how the internet really works, hit subscribe and stick around. There's a lot more to uncover.